Careful. You don't want to learn from this. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.
Coming up on April the 23rd, this is going to be an open free show at Kramer Guitar Cellars.
Oh, man. It's awesome. We had that poll question the other day, and people said that they like the 80s the best out of any decade, and these guys scream 80s. I'm so excited for this show because it's like basically the heyday of the Sunset Strip. It's like a time machine. It's moving over to the Kramer Performance Space on the 23rd. I'm really excited about these guys.
Yeah, coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking to Tris from Stryker. This is the original Stryker. Now, there's other Strykers. We'll have to ask him about that we found in our searches, our Googles. But the original Stryker in Paso Robles on April 23rd, free show at Gary Kramer Guitar Cellars. All right, this is one of their tracks. It's called Yesterday and Today. Check it out. There we go. That's Yesterday and Today. It is the original Stryker. By the way, they're going to be at Kramer Guitar Cellars on April the 23rd, 7 o'clock. We're very lucky to have Tris with us. Tris, thanks a lot for taking a few minutes to jump on with us. We're pretty excited about this show. Tris Mahaffey plays guitar in the band, and we're just happy to have you here on the Central Coast, man.
Yeah, fantastic to be playing up there. As it turns out, I spent a lot of my youth in Paso. My parents built a house out at Chimney Rock Road. So we have a lot of history, even the entire band up there building a house over the years. So coming back to play is a very exciting event for us.
What a beautiful part of Paso, too, man. I mean, that's probably one of my favorite spots up there.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on the lake, Nacimiento skiing and all that.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, we all have something in common. Jeremy, myself, and you. We're all born in Seattle. But we were looking at your bio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're looking at your bio, and it says that your dad spent a lot of time on radio and TV in Seattle. Tell us who your dad is.
Sure, yeah, that's a good story. So Chuck Mahaffey is my father, and his group, The Individuals, were a mainstay in Seattle radio and television. My dad graduated from the University of Washington with a communications degree. He was the first guy to put, I think, King Television on air. And he had shows and radio shows. He had television shows. And in fact, recently, there have been some very early video that's been transferred onto digital. It's on YouTube now, which shows his groups back in the early 60s. Thank God he was smart enough to get the Ampex 2-inch video. And that stuff is now available to see. And you have on that the earliest recorded, I think, audio and, of course, video of Larry Coryell on guitar, Ralph Towner. I mean, there's some mainstay guys up there in the Northwest, which no one's ever seen. So it's a thrill to have this out. Yeah,
that's really cool. That's we I don't know if we can be friends with your dad because we're Washington State Cougars, but but we both worked in radio in Seattle before we moved down here to San Luis Obispo and the Central Coast. So that's a cool tie-in, man, and that's a great story, man. I'm sure you're proud of your pops.
I really am. He passed away many years ago, but his music still sells. His records still sell. And it's just phenomenal to see after the time, people still have interest in his music. He was jazz, he was not a rocker, of course.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, it's pretty neat.
We've been getting some people, want to find out what you're doing. And so they're going and they're searching Stryker on the internet. And they run across a band that is not even from the United States. What's the deal with that?
What's the deal with Edmonton, Stryker?
So here's the situation: is way back in the early '80s, we were very active in the music industry. We were on the radio, and we had video out prior to MTV on local stations down here, and we were playing with everybody, from Rat to Motley to Guns N' Roses. I mean, everybody on the Strip, everybody was part of this scene. Well, so we were Stryker. I mean, if you look at all the earlier advertisements, it's all Stryker.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what happened is we retired, and then somebody slipped in with a name after, we had retired. And we were on in our careers making a living and raising children and all that sort of stuff. So when we came back to start playing again, we were like, oh, geez. So we, in fact, Ben Wiener, who's here with me right now, he was the one that said, well, we're the original Stryker, so let's keep this straight. Now, anytime anybody wants to hear our music, they just jump on the originalstryker.com website or even the Original Stryker Facebook or the Original Stryker Reverb page, and all of our stuff is there. So if anybody wants to hear it, that's where they find it.
They got to see you live in concert, man. I'm sure you guys still kick ass. April 23rd at Kramer. We've got links, kzoz.com on the Jeff and Jeremy page. And, of course, you can go to kramerguitarcellars.com to pick up tickets to this show. And so, do you know Gary, or did you just run across him because he's got a venue?
So Gary and I actually go way back. It's probably a long story, but the bottom line is he was a guitar maker, as we all know, back in the 80s, and we used to travel to the NAMM show, and I met him early on. And the short end of the story is that my drummer, Steve Greco, who is an avid wine connoisseur, I think he stumbled in there one day, and he was the contact with Gary, and then it just took off from there. So, like I said, we're really thrilled to be there, especially being that there's Edward Van Halen thing. I've got a lot of influence on Eddie. I can't play nearly as good as him, but we still love to play that sort of music. So we're really an original band, but this particular gig, we've got a full set of 80s covers, including Van Halen,
cool.
Just all the usual suspects. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great.
Have you been to the space yet? Like prior to the show on the 23rd, will that be your first time there?
First time for me being there. I've only seen photographs, but Steve, my drummer, has been there, and he's been entertained by Gary. I guess pouring him some wine and whatnot.
And Gary's a great entertainer.
He's an interesting cat because if you tell him that you play music, like, it could be 2:00 on a Saturday afternoon, and he's like, okay, well, show me what you got. And then so he throws people up on the stage. It's a pretty fun place to hang out.
They're like, yeah, I didn't bring my guitar. He's like, oh, that's okay. I got a room right over here. Pick one out. And of course, it's top-notch facility. I mean, the sound's all dialed in, and it's he's actually ran across some pretty interesting guys. I think he said he had a plumber working for him who played guitar. And he's like, well, get up there. Let's hear what you got. And then he booked his band. So
Nice.
he's a good dude.
Nice. Well, I think it's great that Paso has this. I mean, I travel through there on a consistent basis, and it's still, like I said, it's home to everybody in the band. We had a lot of history there as kids and teenagers. So the fact that this exists there is just I can't even believe it. I'm just so thrilled to do this show. It's going to be a blast.
Well, right on. We appreciate your time, man. Again, don't forget, this is on April 23rd, 7:00. It's, Kramer Guitar Cellars up in Paso Robles on Riverside Avenue.
Everybody can go.
Yeah.
It's a no-cover show, so just go out and have a good time. You can find theoriginalstriker.com. This is the one from Laguna Hills, okay? They're from this great state of California. They are not from Edmonton.
Hey,
exactly.
How many times do people call you Chris, Tris?
Oh my God! People have spun my name to everything you can imagine. But the funny thing is that it's a family name, and I've only met a few people out there that actually have the same name. It's short for Tristram, which is Tristram. And there's only a few of us out there, but it gets the job done,
Right on.
Do you correct people when they call you Chris, or you just roll with it?
No, they can call me Bob, Ed, whatever. I'm good.
Well, we're looking forward to this show, man. And thank you for taking a few minutes. We're going to play another song coming up here from The Original Striker. It's theoriginalstriker.com, man. Take care.
All right, take care. Thank you so much.
The original Striker right there, live. You can check it out in Paso Robles at Kramer Guitar Cellars on Riverside. We've got a tag and a link over on our Facebook page at Jeff and Jeremy if you want to find out more, or go to theoriginalstriker.com for information on the show. Remember, it's a free show. Saturday night, April the 23rd in Paso.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.